Yeah, Arrowhead Chiefs. It's your girl, Miss Nicole. Queen of Hustle, baby. Started from the bottom, now we here. My homie at the start of his career. Let's go. Try to warn him early, hear the truth. Tune in every Sunday for the juice. Arrowhead Chief Podcast, bringing all the news. If you missed the play, come back for reviews. Quick style. Out here rapping for the crew. Post-game highlights, go subscribe on YouTube. If you missed the play, come back for reviews. Post-game highlights, go subscribe on YouTube.
What's up, ChiefsKingdom? You are tuned in to the Arrowhead Chief Podcast, episode 212. Locked up to one seed is this episode. Hope everybody's having a good evening. Sorry for the late pod for those in KC. We're on West Coast time, so it's early for us. But we figured we'd do one. I wanted to talk about the game on Wednesday. I didn't want to wait till Tuesday. By that time, we kind of, elongated to get into the game. So I figured we get into the game tonight. So appreciate y'all who's tapping in with us tonight to watch us, and shout out to those who's watching us on the playback. So, but before we get into our topics, Mark, what is going on, brother?
Hey, the work is done. It's not done, but it is done. Still got a championship to go get. They got the ideal situation. Same old story, same old script. On to the next.
Definitely on to the next. But let's get into this game that happened on Wednesday, Christmas Day. Everybody's Christmas was way better than what it was last year. Last year was dark and gloomy. We coming off a loss against the Raiders, but this game was way better. Played the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh, beating them 29-10. Patrick Mahomes probably had his best game of the season. He was 29-38, 320 yards, 3 touchdowns. Kareem Hunt had only 9 carries, 20 yards, but he had a touchdown. Travis Kelce had a really good game, 8 catches, 84 yards, and a touchdown, breaking Tony Gonzalez's record for most touchdowns in Chiefs history. Xavier Worthy, who continues to ascend in this offense, had 8 catches, 79 yards, and a touchdown. Justin Watson had 2 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown, and he redeemed himself on the deep shot catch that he caught going towards the end zone. And then the defense, that's what to me was the big surprise of the day, because we all know Chris Jones did not play in this game because he was resting because of the calf strain. But this defense showed up in a big way with 5 sacks and 2 turnovers. They were the headline of this game. So what were your thoughts? What did you see from this game? What did you like? And how are you feeling?
Offense, like you said, was just more history in the making. Typically, you already said about Kelce, Mahomes, most touchdowns in the first 8 seasons. That's another milestone that was hit there. Prior to the Ravens, getting their win, they got all 3 in a 10-game stretch. I mean, I think it was the biggest concern probably on a lot of minds. They were able to manage the storm as far as even with the injury bug too. Came out as healthy as you possibly could. Nobody got hurt really in the last game, so all looked good. The defense, I had no idea. Like, you knew it was there, but it was like it took Chris Jones to be out, and all of a sudden here they are. Everybody was just firing at all cylinders. They had your boy mic'd up, of course. That was pretty cool to watch. Furious George, he was doing his thing. But Dana, George, obviously McDuffie, he had forced another turnover. This defense is firing all cylinders. Even the story itself, as far as them, they're just riding the momentum as far as what they have going in. This is what you want to see going into the playoffs, regardless of how long the break may be, whether it's been a week, 2 weeks. I mean, now they have the luxury of having basically 3 weeks to be able to rest, recover, get healthy. They did everything that you could possibly think of. This was probably the most relaxed game. Like, nobody was sweating bullets in the last 5 minutes of the game for once. I'm sitting there going, like, just put Wentz in the game. Who cares? I'm sitting there like, whatever. But, we'll get to see him next week. But Chiefs took care of business, and here they are. They pretty much sealed themselves once again. The best team is like, and here's a stat to think about. This team has the same number of losses 365 days from now as he do Super Bowl wins. That's not normal. That's
No.
crazy. One loss in the last year. The
Yeah.
Bears can't even say that, not even come close to that. None of the other teams, like this is just no more, but more than the accolades of what we were talking about. Like we would have never thought. And I think, and also to add on to that too, for the team as well, is I think this is the most wins they've had in their franchise for a regular season. So let's throw that in too. So, all this debate, all the conversations, whatever, that was just icing on the cake. They pretty much beat 5 out of the 6 teams now that are in the playoffs. I mean, they look good. I feel very confident going in. Let's go. I mean, let's just go to the postseason. Can we just fast forward, like whatever? I mean, you hope everybody come out. I don't want to hear any excuses talking about this person hurt and whatever. I mean, going in, you just hope everybody come out healthy and whatever. Whoever it may be, it pretty much shows that you got to dodge a bullet. Now you ain't got to play the Bills and the Ravens on their way through. They pretty much took care of business as a number 1 seed. I mean, it wasn't attractive all year, no, but it is a 1 seed a 1 seed, yes. So. Go Chiefs, man. Let's go.
Yeah, pretty much what you said, man. It was a great game to watch. The offense looks like they're finding their rhythm. Xavier Worthy looks like he's becoming a budding star in this defense. I mean, in this offense. He's starting to pick it up. They're starting to use him more in more wide receiver routes, and and it's no coincidence with Hollywood Brown coming back that this offense has taken it up to another level. Even he is making big catches on third down, just getting open and in the middle of the field and doing some of the Rasheed Rice type stuff that we were missing. And then with D Hop, he makes a big catch, third down catch when we need him to, and in the red zone, he's just superb with his hands. And some of the contortions that he does with his body,
the Michael Jackson toe tap
with the Houston game, he had the third down toe tap, and it was just it's just some of the stuff that D-Hop brings, and we're gonna need in the playoffs. And then Travis, you could just tell he turned it on in this game. He turned it up. He looked like old Travis. In this game, no, he doesn't have the breakaway speed that he used to have, where he could break away from guys, but he made plays that we're accustomed to. And him and Pat just seemed like they were on the same page in this game. It's this season, that was one of the the headlines in this season, was that those two seemed like they were a little off. Usually Pat knows where he's going and he throws the ball right where he needs to go, or Travis knows where Pat is going to throw the football. This year it seems like they've been a little off with that, with Travis sometimes veering to the left and Pat throws it, over this way, or they just seemed like they were off. But this game was like the antithesis of them, those two on the same wavelength, on the same page. Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, and that's what we needed to see, going into Christmas.
And even so, with Trav, he had a key block too. Shout out to not Brick Hands. I'll give him a break this week. Shout out to Watson, man.
Yeah, man.
He redeemed himself. He did 2 big plays, and on the touchdown play, it's doesn't go unnoticed that Travis, even the little things that he does, it's not going to show up on the stat sheet, but he picked up a key block on the end to make that throw happen. And I'm like, this is just.
Travis has been making some key blocks this season, but in this game, he made a few key blocks in this game. But also, it can't go unnoticed. We got to show love to Joe Thuney for what he's done these past 3 weeks, from the Cleveland game to, the Houston game to this game, the Steelers game. Thuney has held his own, giving up no sacks. Dude he's solidified himself as a Hall of Famer. He was already a Hall of Famer to me because he was an all-pro guard, but he solidified himself as a Hall of Famer in these 3 weeks, bro. Like the way he played left tackle is just, and that's what we've been saying all season, is that look, we don't need all pro left. We don't need Trent Williams on the left side. We just need somebody who was solid, who could just hold it down so Pat could get the ball out.
Hold it down. No
just hold this side of this side down, and just give Pat some time, just a little bit of time, so he could do his thing. He could just trust the pocket. He won't bail out. His throws won't be off. None of that stuff.
But we're seeing a combination of that too. It's like, although, they're still making 2-second throws and the receivers are getting open. They're getting big plays. They're getting huge yak yards. I think even one of them was a quick 2-second throw to Hollywood Brown on a quick slant. I mean, for him to have hands the way he does, that just comes to show what we've been missing. Now, we were hoping for that too, as far as with Brown, being able to counter some of that. I mean, these receivers are getting open. They getting it done. And then we're not having to see Pat as mobile as he has to or had to. So that's a good thing. Takes off pressure off that ankle. We don't know. It was like he looks to be in good shape, but obviously, with these 3 weeks coming up, it's going to be critical. So, I mean, like you said, you already pointed out Tooney, whether, he should be in a Pro Bowl somewhere. I don't know. I mean, you're probably going to put him in his natural position, but he answered the call and he did exactly what he should, going against some premier defensive ends too.
Yeah. From Myles Garrett to Danielle Hunter to now, he was on Watt, or he was on. Excuse me. He was guarding Highsmith, but still, Highsmith is still a very good pass rusher, and he can get after the quarterback. And he was a non-factor in this game. But just to see how this team just came together on all phases. Even Nico Remigio looking good as a kickoff and punt returner. Like, dude has held it down. Other than the fumble he had, when that was just a good hit. I ain't gonna lie, the dude lit him up pretty good. But he redeemed himself on the following kickoff and ran into like 40, 30
yards. It was the opening one. Yeah, he had that put him in field position real quick. I mean, it could have got out of hand even in the second quarter. That was probably the only thing I was saying that kind of concerned me was the second quarter. Name to be not mentioned, but now that I'm thinking about it, you're talking about Watt. That's a tough matchup, regardless. One of the most respected in the game. I mean, I think you have to look at it like this. Sometimes you have to be okay with taking the penalties rather than actually Pat Mahomes getting hit.
And one of those penalties was BS anyway. Like, he just failed. He just failed. And I just think that, and look, TJ Watt is an all-pro DN. The referee's just going to see him falling. Yeah. So he's going to assume, Jawan Taylor pulled him.
He was under the radar. I mean,
and TJ Watt's going to get those calls. When you're a star player, you're just going to get those calls. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's bogus, you're going to get those calls. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. And I know people are complaining, the biggest thing everybody complains about the refs, and they was complaining about the forward progress from George Pickens, and he broke away, he could have scored a touchdown, and then the Jalen Warren, and it was a holding penalty, which it was a holding penalty. It is what it is. Like, at the end of the day, you got 5 sacks, 2 turnovers, and the defense couldn't stop the offense, really. You know what I'm saying? The only time their defense got stops is when we shot ourselves in the foot with penalties.
I didn't have 5 sacks on my bingo card for Christmas Day at all. Not even close.
Shout out to George Karlaftis, who balled out. Shout out to Turk Warden. Shout out to Dana. Shout out to Charlie O. Shout out to Felix, who got McDuffie, a good sack. As usual. McDuffie, who's been balling these past few weeks.
Hicks, although I'm okay with that penalty, I thought it was funny to me.
When he did the thumbs down. When he did the thumbs down. I didn't understand. Look, I get it. They was like, it looked like Xavier Worthy was posing like he had a gun. I don't think he was posing like he had a gun, but
it's all subjective. I mean, they had 3 of them. They even penalized Kelsey for the dunk. I'm like,
well, I think they knew. I think he knew he was going to get penalized for that. But I do think that the referee should have been like, you know what? He's showing homage to Tony Gonzalez. He just broke the record. Let's give him a little leeway. But it is what it. Just fine him. That's all you had to do, was just fine him. Just fine him, give him the fine. And Tony Gonzalez said he was going to cover it. So
that's the way of leveling the playing field, I guess, if no penalties are getting called. So let's throw those 3 in the pile. I mean, I'll take it, whatever. Unsportsmanlike conduct. And they had Pickens frustrated so bad. I'm like, my goodness.
He always gonna crash out. This is the reason, ChiefsKingdom, why they didn't pick him over Sky. I know Sky Moore. I know you hate him. I know ChiefsKingdom can't stand him. He turned out not to be a good player for this team. But you see why they took Sky over George Pickens. Yes, George Pickens is very talented. He is a talented young man, but he will not last in this league if he continues the road that he goes down.
It's kind of shocking, though, even under the Tomlin kind of system. But that's something that he has to grow up and grow into, and I'm pretty sure.
Hopefully it clicks for him. Hopefully he does mature. Hopefully he understands that this is a team sport. That interception from Russell Wilson, that was George Pickens' fault. He stopped running his route.
Yeah, he did. I know what he's talking about now.
McDuffie jammed him up, but you got to fight through that. And if he fights through that, but he just stops his route, and so Justin Reed is like, "Oh well, you ain't gonna keep going. I don't have to worry about the flats now. I can just go over here." And he just read Russell Wilson all the way and caught it.
And even so, prior to that, in the first quarter, we had that big catch. He just happened to get his hands up right in time because it went right through McDuffie's hands. I mean, obviously,
that should have been a pick.
It should have been.
It should have been.
He just made the play, and then here they come. Big play. I'm like, well, it was funny. I'm like, man, would it be nice for him to get a turnover here? Interception, and then there you go. Except I wasn't too happy. The fact was that game? Man, I've been watching so many games for one. Yeah, he's been doing pretty good too. He had that.
And I want to talk about that. Not to cut you off, but I do want to talk about that with Roland Wallace being in the slot. It's finally because Spags has finally put a corner. See, I love Shamari Connor. I think he's a very good safety. The problem with Shamari Connor is they be having him in the slot playing nickel, and he's playing against tight ends and wide receivers, and he can't cover those type of guys. That's just not his game. He is a box safety. That's what he is. But when you got an actual cornerback in Christian Roland Wallace who actually knows how to play corner, you see the difference in the defense. You just see it.
And you seen him get back. I'm not sure. I think it was the Texans game when he got into the backfield very quickly too. I was like, geez. I'm like, all right, this dude's grown, because I remember he got burned like when it was his first game coming in. Right. He got burned on one play, but you see the transition as far as that's good coaching with Spags and stuff like that, and how he utilizes. That's just
he's a rookie. He's young.
But that's how it's been. The Chiefs have done that for the last some odd years, where rookies have stepped up that we did not expect. They're ahead of their time. And
the AFC Championship game against the Bengals, when everybody was in their first year, L'Jarius Sneed goes down, and probably the first two plays he's down. He's out for the game. He's out, concussion, and them young boys had to step up. Trent, Cook, Joshua Williams, Jalen Watson. Hey, y'all got to step it up.
I think Williams had picked that game too.
He did. On the tip. Cook, because he got burnt the first time, and then they learned from it, and Cook stayed the course, tipped it to Williams, and we got the ball back. So, but fast forward this year, you got Williams out there. He's stepping up. He's making plays when he needs to make plays. He had a huge play in the Houston game where he got that sack.
He did.
Pretty much iced the game. He iced the game against Houston. And he had some pretty big plays in this game too. So
I think he just had one. I think he had one play that he just took a bad angle. He got just contained and on the end, and also I think Najee got away.
Yeah,
but he's one of those players that could get better as the game goes along. And for the Chiefs defense to hold them to 10 points, they did everything you could ask for.
All you could ask for. And the thing about it is, now this team is the number one scoring defense with 18 points.
Another number one.
Yeah,
but then this team is sorry and washed and the most overrated number one. But we can talk about overrated teams and all day in history, but it is what it is. There's a reason why. I mean, for once, I could put down they the one score kings for 1 week. I'm like, they are by 19. We can chill out.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there just chilling, just give me a couple of snacks and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, clean up a few things and gotta look up for a big play or whatever. You good?
Yeah, gotta wait. You ain't gotta be scared that somebody gonna make a big play or we gotta take the ball down to get a touchdown or a field goal. Nope, it's We chilling. We kicking our feet up in the fourth quarter right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the interesting thing going into the playoffs is, yes, all praise to Joe Tooney being left tackle, but I do think that the lack of Tooney not being, and look, I like Caliendo. I think Caliendo did a stellar job stepping in at the left guard position, but there is a drop off in the running game.
The interior run.
Yeah, you do see that there's a drop off in the running game. Pacheco or Kareem. Well, Kareem had a better game against Houston last week, but this week, and look, Steelers have a stellar defense. They have a stellar run defense, so it's hard to run against them. So that's just could be that. But you do see there's a little bit of lack, a step down in the running game, and it'll be interesting. Does the Chiefs, now that they have locked up the 1 seed, do you get reps to DJ Humphries in this Denver game the following week in week 18? Do you just get him revved up, get him some reps, make him play most of that game so he can get into game shape? Because mind you, he's only played one game. He's played 3 quarters, more like probably 4. He played 4 quarters, but he was out like the last drive in that Chargers game. He was out the last drive. That was it. So he played most of the game. But you give him some more game reps because he's going to be resting for a week, 2 weeks or a week now. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be out for the bye week. Do you rev him up, get him going, and then going into that divisional round, do you feel secure to make him the starting left tackle, put Tooney back at his natural position? I know the Chiefs can do some things to help out DJ Humphries. But do you feel secure enough to put DJ Humphries out there in that first divisional round game?
This is what you do. Remember a couple years ago when they had that other defensive coordinator to remain nameless still to this day because he's just irrelevant. Mm-hmm. And they didn't play Eric Berry. He only played like 1 or 2 games or something like that. And then they rested him until the playoffs. And then they had that matchup with the Patriots, and he was matched up against Gronk. Mm-hmm. Let's go over what it was. It showed like some of that rust in the inconsistency, not getting enough reps, and you're trying to rev yourself up in such a short amount of time. Not to mention, you're talking about a guy that's only played 2 games in the last 18 months, realistically. Mm-hmm. I mean, you definitely want to get him some reps, see how he looks. I think I'm more interested to see what they do with Tooney if they even let him play, because I think leave Caliendo. Go ahead.
I think that he's gonna rest.
Yeah, let Caliendo get in there. He did good.
Yeah. I think Caliendo starts at left guard again. I think you'll see Creed rest. I don't think Trey's gonna be in there. I don't think Jawan Taylor, because Jawan, we got to understand, he's still playing. He was playing hurt too against TJ Watt, so he's pretty much playing on one leg.
Even they need rest too. Let's just say it for what it is. But so, I think you do get him some gameplay, get familiar, and then you get that rest in between. That would actually help, even with that return, stuff like that. So that way, and also what's going to help too is the fact they're playing at mile high. So it's going to be an adjustment as far as with the breathing as well too. So that also help condition some of these players as well too.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be good for him. Maybe 3 quarters again. I don't think you have him go the whole game. Just to show what who is he going to be matched up on that? Well, really, it depends on what happens with Denver, because I think Denver's in a clinching situation this week.
Well, no, they have to win out. They have to win out because they got to beat the Bengals. Because if the Bengals beat them, they have to beat the Chiefs. They have to beat the Chiefs to even get into the playoffs.
The Bengals will be out, but I think if another team loses, like Miami or something like that, they lose, then it pretty much means nothing. So
because the Bengals need the Colts to lose the last 2 games, and they need the Dolphins to lose the last 2 games, and they need the Broncos to lose the last 2 games.
The Colts, I don't see that happening. You see
they play the Giants and the Jaguars.
I mean, I don't get it, man. How in the world they get these Bills powder puff schedule type of things and everything? And granted, the game was close, with New England, but still a little powder puff game schedule.
They got the Jets and then the Patriots again. And they're in an interesting, but we can get into it. Let's talk about it. Get into the playoff picture. Let me pull this up.
I think we said our piece as far as what you do. We said,
yeah. But yeah, this is pretty much the playoff picture right now. We can
Uh-huh.
concentrate on the AFC right now. But right now, the Baltimore Ravens are the 3 seed, Buffalo's the 2 seed. So Baltimore and Buffalo are still playing for to see who's the
Their
2 and
respective
who's the 3
division.
seed.
Oh, Baltimore playing
But
for the division.
yeah, and they're playing for the division. But Baltimore has the tiebreaker over Buffalo because remember earlier in the season they
They
smashed
thumped
them.
them. Yeah, they
They
thumped them.
smashed them. So if they have the same record going into saying the playoffs, Baltimore will be the 2 seed, and Buffalo will be the 3 seed. So
Which I don't think would matter based on what I'm seeing. Realistically, do I see Denver or the Chargers beating them? No, I don't.
no, I don't.
I don't.
Now matchups are interesting. I will say this. I think the Chargers will give Buffalo a challenge, way more of a challenge than Buffalo Broncos would give Buffalo.
Mhm.
I think the Chargers can give. I still think Buffalo would win, but Buffalo's defense has been giving up a lot of points these last few weeks. Like
Yeah.
their defense has not been perfect by no means.
No.
That Rams game, they couldn't stop that Rams offense by no means. It was just Josh Allen had to be Superman. He brought him back in the game, and then in the Lions game, the Lions couldn't stop them.
No.
And they had got some few stops, and now I give them that they did get a few stops in that game.
And the
But
Lions panicked too. That was crazy.
and then they panicked with like 12 minutes left and did an onside kick, which they didn't have to do that. They possibly could have still been in that game had they not did that. But that's Campbell. I think this matchup right here, Steelers. Well, it could flip too. That could flip too because if Baltimore loses any of these last few games, and Steelers win out or win their last game, then they'll flip, and the Steelers will be the 3 seed or the 2, or they'll be the 3 seed, and then Baltimore will be that 5th seed, and it'll be Houston and Ravens.
Yeah.
So, and we're gonna play. We would possibly play the winner out of that.
It's possible, but I'm gonna be honest. I don't see that happening. I think Buffalo, they're gonna take care of business. They'll win their last 2. Baltimore, I don't see them losing. I think they're gonna take care of business. I think that's for Houston. I mean, Houston and Pittsburgh are reeling going into the latter part of the season. But Houston, they got absolutely deflated when they lost Tank Dell. Let's just call it for what it is. The defense.
This is why this week they need to get Deontay Johnson all the plays. They need to get him going now because there is no time to wait. You have to get some packages. Getting him going is going to be vital for the Houston Texans to get any type of momentum going into the playoffs.
I mean, it goes back. I mean, what's crazy about this whole thing was Pittsburgh is right on schedule from what I said from the jump in the beginning of the season. I said all they had to do was just add at least an average or better quarterback. They're a playoff team. And being a playoff team, I said they could probably steal one game in the first round. Well, this is it right here. Realistically, I just don't see it with Houston being depleted. I mean, you can be running on emotions and all sort of stuff, but Houston just looks absolutely flat. I mean, they just did not look good. And only 2 points really came on the safety. They just looked like they were they just looked checked out. Even going looking down with Baltimore and the Chargers, that be the matchup it'd be. Obviously, I mean, I like Baltimore. I don't see the ring. I mean, we said it weeks ago. These are going to be the 7 teams that are in. Cincinnati, just pop your bubble. Just get ready for baseball season going into next year. Whatever. I mean, let's just call it what it is.
Get ready for the draft.
Get ready for the draft. Pay your boy. Pay him. Take care of him. What happens with T. Higgins? That'll be interesting. This just goes on. I mean, I don't want to hear talking about the Chiefs are scared of the Bengals when the Bengals ain't take care of business. I don't want to hear that.
Right.
That's beyond crazy. I mean, they've blown so many games and had in the bag. This is just what you're supposed to do in the regular season. They just didn't have to do
it. I guess. I mean, that would be a desperate move. I guess you could sign them.
I forgot he's still out there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could sign him. I guess. I mean, they need all the help they can get right now because
Yeah.
that's their problem offensively. They cannot get nothing going. Like, you're right. In that Ravens game, they look like they didn't even want to be out there,
Mm-mm.
and they were at home.
They just ever since Tank just went out, it's just the whole thing just the air in the balloon just absolutely went out. That's just where
D'Amico Ryan, he's gonna have to get a hold of this team. He's gonna have a meeting, get see. It starts with CJ. It starts with CJ Stroud. They go as he goes, and he's gonna have to get into CJ's head and tell him, look, man, I need you to get out this fog. It sucks. Yes, you lost Tank. Yes, your best friend, but this is football. That happens. Injuries happen. It's sad. I'm sad that it happened to him, and it was a bad injury from what I'm hearing. That
it was, yeah.
his next season is kind of in jeopardy. He might not come back until 2026, 2027 type still. It's all the surgeries he's got to get. So
it's just not good overall. I mean, you're talking about, and this is kind of like the experience, even with you could say the Chiefs had gone through this. You know, this is the difference. You basically lose your 2 and your 3, your 1 and your 2, however you want to say it. Nico Collins was out a couple of games. You lost Stephon Diggs to an ACL. You lose Tank Dell to practically everything, his patella, all that stuff. So how they get over this adversity, I don't know. I mean, that's the difference between teams that are built to be able to overcome these things. I just don't see it with Houston. It's just, at this point, stick a fork in it. Good season to be back next year. I mean, they'll be the defending divisional winner. They'll have a first place schedule. We'll see how it goes. And hopefully they can get healthy and get good picks.
Yeah. But back to the playoff picture. Yeah, I agree with you. This is pretty much going to be the playoff picture to me. And the good thing about having this 1 seed is we don't have to play Baltimore and Buffalo like we did last year. We'll just have to play one of them. Personally, I think it's going to be Chiefs and Baltimore in the AFC Championship game. I don't trust Buffalo's defense.
The Arrowhead Invitational.
Yeah, I don't trust Buffalo's defense.
I think Derrick Henry has a monster game against Buffalo.
I do too.
I just do.
I do too. I do, and I think those tight ends are gonna eat them alive with a little bit of Zay Flowers. Like I said, I just think Baltimore is just gonna be too much for them. Now on the NFC side, we just want to talk about the full array of players. I think the NFC side is up for grabs. I think that anybody can win it with Detroit's injuries. You know, because to me, without those, if they didn't get injured, I would just say Detroit is Detroit's to lose. But now with all those injuries, I wouldn't be surprised to see Detroit, Green Bay, LA, Vikings, or the Eagles. Washington, I think they're a year away. I think they need one more weapon to help them out. But I wouldn't be surprised to see the teams that I mentioned. In Atlanta, they got a rookie quarterback. I just think Atlanta, they don't have enough right now to get them to the Super Bowl. But
Atlanta's got it. Who is it? Tampa's got it favorable in their schedule because they got a crap team coming up this week, and Atlanta's got Washington.
Yeah,
so that's going to be a tough one. I said in the beginning of the season, I had Green Bay. I said, look out for them.
Me too.
But the Rams, them playing against the Rams.
I know that's difficult. That's difficult. But I will say this: Green Bay. One thing about Green Bay is that their weapons are more suited to play in warm weather or in the dome. Yeah. So I think that there would be actually a good matchup for Green Bay. I think they would rather play in a dome than play in, the snow or cold weather or whatnot. LA, the thing about the Rams is that they're so up and down to me. Like 1 minute they look like world beaters. And they can score on everybody with all those weapons that they got. But then there's 1 minute they'll look like they can't get nothing going. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's a little weird. But Green Bay, it's just like last year when they just started getting their groove and started looking real good. Jordan Love, he's not turning the football over. When I was watching that, I know they was playing the Saints, and the Saints are just terrible. They just bad. They're reeling right now. But what I did like from Jordan Love, what I saw was he wasn't trying to force stuff. He didn't. If he didn't see it, he would throw it away or he would dirt the ball to the ground. He wouldn't try to force into double coverage, triple coverage, or nothing like that. He would just play it safe. And that running game has been a godsend for him because that was something they was missing last year.
Jacobs.
Yeah, he's been a godsend for them. Like them running that football and that play action pass. And you got all those wide receivers with Watson and Reed and Wicks and Dobbs, and then Tucker Craft. They got some guys out there, man. It's just they got a nice array of weapons. And then you go with the Vikings and Sam Darnold. He's finally, I think people are starting to believe with the game against Seattle last week, how Sam Darnold put him on their back and pretty much won that game. You got Justin Jefferson, who's the best receiver in the league. You got Addison, who might be the best number 2 wide receiver in the league and possibly could be a number 1 on any other team if you want to put him on there. Then you have Aaron Jones, who's still doing Aaron Jones things. You got Tyler Hawkinson. You got him. Like they got a squad. And then this defense, Brian Flores got this defense balling out. So
it's just the only thing that concerned me, which is watching that Detroit versus the Bills. Watching Campbell panic like that.
Yeah,
like, you can't be doing that, man. It's like,
he feared that his defense couldn't get no stops, and so he felt like he needed to give his offense another possession.
I mean, I get it, but man, you got to play the long. You got to play the long game in that situation.
You do,
and it backfired clearly.
It did. It did backfire, but they did look good last week. I know it was against the Bears, but they did look better.
Run trick plays against the Bears.
And then you got that trick play was kind of crazy though. They took a messed up play from Green Bay. It turned into a real play. And then they got the 49ers on Monday. We'll see how they look going into that because that last game, if the Vikings take care of business against who do they play this week? Who do the Vikings play this week?
Vikings, they play somewhere down there. Packers. That's a big game.
See, so there you go. They got the tough one.
I didn't know the Vikings only had 2 losses until I looked at it. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then they close, and then the Lions close with the Vikings. So you could be in a situation where the last week of the season, number one seed is on the line.
Yeah, for sure. So
it's crazy.
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting to see how these last few weeks play out. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. You know what I'm saying? These last few games are there's gonna be some games that's gonna mean some stuff. Some of these games ain't gonna mean nothing, but definitely that Vikings and Green Bay game means something. The Commanders Atlanta Falcons game, that means something.
There's always that one game where those 2 teams, whether it be the last week, that something stupid happened, ain't supposed to happen or whatever. I mean, it happens every year. I'm like, what? I'm like, how in the world? It could happen. So nothing is given, nothing is promised. I mean, the Bills slipped up. I mean, worst case scenario, just is flip flop, and you give the Ravens. But I mean, I don't know. I just feel like everything is pretty much taking shape as we expected. Especially if you look at the AFC bracket, all the teams that we expected to be there are there pretty much. I mean, you can make your arguments as far as some of those late seeds, the 7 to 6, but we all said the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Bills mainly. It did, and for the most part, the Texans. That was a crap division, so it went exactly how I think it's going to go. I just think the NFC, the toss up. But wouldn't that be something though? If somehow you had the Chiefs and the Eagles again.
Yeah, no, right.
And that was the lowest probability. Because the Super Bowl people always say they want. It never happens. Oh, it's going to be the Chiefs and the Lions. Somebody going to screw it up. Oh, it's going to be the Lions and the Bills. We already seen that. That's forget that. Forget about it.
All right, let's deviate a little bit, man. Let's talk about the MVP race, man. Now, right now, it's between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson to me. I think those two are at the top. Saquon I think he's pulling in at third. He could break the record, but I still think that they want a quarterback to win that award. Now Josh Allen, batting odds for all you bettors out there. Josh Allen is minus 250. Lamar Jackson is plus 160 right now. Now, if you're going stats, Lamar Jackson has better stats than Josh Allen. He has 3,787 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Actually, I think Lamar Jackson has more than that. I think he has 3,900 some yards. And then Josh, he has 35, 49, 26 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. But the thing about Josh is he has moments, and we all know the MVP is a moment narrative-based type of award. It's not just stats. You know what I'm saying? It's big moments that made you an MVP candidate. Whereas when Lamar has the stats, he has some moments, but I think he just has more of the stats. Like the Houston game was a big moment for him, but it's against a Houston team that's really not that good. Whereas when Josh Allen has the 4th and 2 against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
That's a moment. You know what I'm saying? The comeback almost even though they lost, him coming back against the Rams and almost winning that game is a moment. Him doing what he did to the Lions, that's a moment. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's more about moments. Right now, if I would have to bet, I think Josh Allen's going to win it. He would have to fall apart in these last 2 games. Like he'd have to throw like 2 picks against the Jets. He'd have to throw like 2 picks against against Patriots in the last game, and he might not even have to play that last game. So, I'm just saying it's he would have to fall apart in these last few games. So
at this point, it's subjective as far as how we see it, whether we're looking at stats, because we can even argue in the moments and as far as statistically, how many interceptions you said that Lamar Jackson had?
He only has 4.
He realistically should only have 1. You know how 3 of those interceptions happened?
Yeah.
2 of them were tips on his receivers, basically, and the other one, basically, he just got took for the ball. So really, he should only have 1.
Right.
So we can look at it from that angle. We talk about the head-to-head, obviously. I mean, that's the thing about it, though. When we're looking at head-to-head, we're not talking about the quarterback versus quarterback. It's the quarterback versus the defense when it's all said and done. And, I wouldn't be mad either way, as far as who does what and, who we give it to. And you can even throw Saquon in the mix if he has this crazy – and this is really realistically the week to do it. I think you have to throw Saquon in the mix if for some reason and somehow, and he's a freak of nature and can do it, if he broke the record this weekend.
He would have to run for like
260 some yards.
Yeah.
Against.
I think it's a bad team. I know it's a bad team.
I mean, it's possible.
It is possible, though.
But I'm not mad at whoever they give it to. I mean, you can make an argument either way. I mean, if you watch them like throughout the season, you can make a case for each and every one of them. Everybody expected the Baltimore to win their division and be there, although Pittsburgh gave them a fight. But, the other storyline behind that is that Buffalo, they weren't expecting them to be the juggernauts what they were. But then if we walked into reality land, I kind of stuck that. The only team I thought that might actually have a shot was the Dolphins, and the Dolphins were basically a no-call, no-show this year. So you can make an argument for all 3. I'm not mad whoever they select. This would be Josh's first.
Yeah.
So.
I think what's working against Lamar is that he's got 2 MVPs. And I think another thing they're gonna use against Lamar is that he has Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry is having a month. Like if Derrick Henry was like having a 850-yard season or whatever, and Lamar was doing these stats, I don't think they would have an argument. But since he's like 1,600 something yards and whatever, and like 16 touchdowns, it's like
leading, I think, in touchdowns or something like that.
Like,
yeah, Derrick Henry has 1,700 yards. He's only 50 yards behind Saquon.
That's what I'm saying. So he's
Absolutely.
not too far away either. And so I think they're gonna hold that against Lamar. And it is true that when they run the football 20 something times or more, they win the game.
That's why even with what was crazy about it that everybody keep talking about with Burrow brings him back and stuff like that. I mean, you feel bad for Burrow because it was very similar to the Pat situation. Well, he's basically having to throw this many yards because the defense sucks.
Mhm.
He had
If his defense was anything special, he would be the MVP right now.
Mm-hmm.
He would be
But,
the MVP right now.
but they're
It would,
trying.
and it wouldn't even be close. Like
But they're trying.
he's thought because he got like 4,000 some yards. So
So I mean, he's leading the league in passing yards, but like you said, it's just the nature of the game. The defense just ain't getting it done for him. You gotta figure that out. But it's really I mean, you can make it 2-3 man race. It just depends on situationally. I think what happens this weekend, we gotta wait and see. And then you got a situation where players can rest. And I mean, I don't know. There can be a lot of things. I mean, what would it take? Like you said, it would have to be an outright crazy collapse. I mean, it's not like the Jets defense is superb. I mean, they fired the best thing that they had on there realistically with the Jets. So
yeah.
And then New England, I don't have much of us. I mean, the New England, I mean, it could be one of those things, where they have a bad game on the road. Sometimes all it takes is a bad divisional road game. It happens.
Yeah, for sure.
It happens.
Yeah,
It'll be interesting.
Sure. Yeah. But like I said, I think it's still Josh Allen's to lose. I just think they want to give it to him.
Now, what if Derrick Henry ran for like $150 and only Saquon ran for like 100, and then it was like neck and neck? That would be fun to watch.
It would be fun to watch.
That would be absolutely. But then that goes back to like we were saying, and it kind of goes against I think quarterbacks. I mean, they're kind of victimized by success as well too. So, but realistically with Pat though, he didn't get off to the start that he wanted. For it is what it is. So I mean, I thought it was crazy where they had him at earlier. I'm talking about using the conversation. I'm like, not really, but Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, take your pick. Saquon has a monster day. You could throw him in there too. But I do have my regards to these records though, because the fact that these running backs were able to get it done in fewer games.
Right.
So I'm like, can I?
All right, man. Let's we'll do some game picks, man. I want to get your opinion on some important games this week. I want to get your thoughts on them. Now, tomorrow we got 3 games, but the more important game, of course, is the Broncos versus the Bengals. So both of these teams, they both need a win. Who do you got winning this game?
Bengals. I think they're going to have Chase. I mean, they're going to have Chase is going to be matched up on their number one corner, obviously, but then you got to worry about Higgins. That's going to be a problem.
Yeah,
I think.
I agree. But if the Broncos defensive line can get to Burrows, they have a good chance to win this game. I think it's going to be close, but
could it be a shootout? Absolutely. But I think if it is a shootout, then I think we need to have another conversation about the record, the receiving record too.
Yeah, for real. Now on Sunday, of course the Jets are knocked out, but do you give the Jets any chance of beating the Bills on Sunday?
Who's home?
Bills.
I'm gonna send Aaron Rodgers to retirement. I mean, but the good thing is that Rodgers does have a milestone. I believe he can achieve though.
Mm-hmm.
It was like one of them passing. I think it was like somewhere in there, but realistically, I just don't think the Bills.
I'm interested to see can these Buffalo corners hold up against these receivers. Say what you want about the Jets, but Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson ain't sneeze at. So it'd be interesting to see if they can hold these receivers because we've seen that against elite competition, they ain't been doing too good.
And you can't forget about Breece Hall either. You can't
exactly, and Braylon Allen. So I'm just saying, like, we're gonna see if they can hold these weapons. It can happen. I ain't saying it can't, but
somebody's got to be spoiler, and it could be the Jets. Who knows? Denver can run and eat the clock. I mean, they could.
That's gonna have to be their strategy. They're gonna have to run the clock, not give limit that offense to possessions, but we'll see. Now, once again, the Cowboys are eliminated, but the Eagles are starting Kenny Pickett, and they can still not win this division. They can make the playoffs, but they can still not win this division because they lost to Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think the Eagles will get it done with Kenny Pickett?
Dallas is playing with a chip on their shoulder. I know they're going to be without CeeDee Lamb. He's out for the season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're playing for their coach for whatever reason. I mean, who cares? I mean, it can be had. I mean, Dallas can. They can't make a run. I mean, we love seeing. I love seeing teams play spoiler, no matter who it is. I don't really care. But I think, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas gave him a late run. I wouldn't. It's just who's the receiver that's going to step up. That's the question.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to come down to.
I think Saquon is the difference. I think Saquon is just going to be a monster in this game. Cowboys are not good against the run, and I think AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are just going to be too much for him. So I still got, and I actually like how Kenny Pickett looked in that Commanders game. If Devontae Smith catches that pass and not drop it, Philly wins the game. Like, we're not even talking about this.
I mean, I don't oppose to record, producing games against the Cowboys either. So, all this talk and stuff like that, I don't oppose to it. But, I don't mind the spoiler card, but I don't mind the reality card either. So, hopefully the game's not over by the first quarter. Hopefully.
Yeah. Now, in their first matchup, the Panthers probably should have won if Chuba Herbert doesn't fumble the football in overtime. Panthers win this game. Now, Panthers play again. Buccaneers, they need to win out, and they need Atlanta to lose one so they can win the division and get into the playoffs. Do you think the Panthers will play spoiler to the Buccaneers?
Panthers have been playing very hard. I got to say that. I mean, they played very hard against the Cardinals. Obviously, I bet that little midget, I mean, I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, he had a play where he could just ran down the field or threw it like right to man in front. It looked like he was ready for the season to end, but that's the Cardinals.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting. I mean, Carolina might, but I expect Tampa to take care of business. I do.
Me too. I think Tampa take care of business too, especially at home.
Ooh. And I don't know. I don't know what I'm getting out of it.
Okay, I see you, Brian. I ain't mad at you. Upset. Now the two games next. These are probably the games of the week. You got the Packers at the Vikings, division rivalry. Both teams are coming in hot. Now I do think that Vikings Minnesota crowd is going to be crazy. You're going to see them screaming "Skol" very loud. It's going to be a good matchup. I don't know if Jair Alexander has been playing.
No, he hasn't.
He's been out. So that's scary now because you got a whole. If you don't have your number one corner out there, Justin Jefferson might go out for $150, and Addison might be right there behind him. So, because they're at home, I think it's gonna be close. But I'm gonna go with the Vikings in this game.
Man, both of them were playing lights out the first game. I mean, Love had almost 400 yards that game. He had the game of his life, and then he just came up short by 2. I mean, but like we said before, though, I mean, the fact that they're playing in a dome might work for them. I think they're a better warm climate dome team than they actually are in a cold weather team.
Yeah,
it's a divisional game. I mean, Vikings know what's at stake. They win. They playing for number 1 next week. They lose. We got a mess. It's called for what it is. Man, I'm gonna go with the Vikings in this one. I think if Green Bay's going to get it done, they're going to turn the page like one of those. Because Green Bay, in order to when they made deep runs, they were lower seeds.
I'm not mad at that, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that I think the Vikings. If you don't have Jair Alexander, like who's going to stop them?
Yeah.
Like them corner, that 2 and that 3 ain't gonna stop Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson. You just not. And then Aaron Jones coming out of the backfield. I think it's gonna be close. Don't get it twisted. I think it's going to be close. But
and I think they want that Vikings. They want that Vikings Detroit game of the week next week.
Yeah, for sure. And then of course, I think it's Sunday Night Football. You got Commanders, Falcons, Commanders. They're playing for trying to steal this NFC East. Atlanta trying to win the AFC or NFC South. They got Penix in. They've looked a lot better with Penix in the lineup. They did look a lot better and a little bit more juice when old man your boy Kirk Cousins was back there. They didn't look too inspiring. Now that they got Penix out there, they look like they flying around a little bit. Jaden Daniels is probably going to be Offensive Rookie of the Year, which deservedly so. He should be Offensive Rookie of the Year. He played the game of his life last week, and he won them that game.
And probably Rookie of the Year.
And that's what I say. He probably got Offensive Rookie of the Year. So,
listen,
how do you feel about this game?
I don't trust a rookie playing a second game on the road in the cold night game. Everybody and their mama watching.
Bright lights.
All eyes and all lights on you.
Yeah.
I just can't trust it.
I agree. I got Commanders winning.
I mean, I get that same feeling. Like it's almost like when Pat had first started his run. I'm like, okay, we got the Steelers coming week 2. Let's see how this goes. And all of a sudden he's like, oh, okay, I'm a believer now. Now if he pulls something like that.
Yeah, right. Now, Penix is going to have to. He has a lot to prove in this game. If he goes out there, because we've seen Jaden Daniels do it. We've seen it in the course of this season. He's done it. Now, of course, he's going to have to do it again going forward, especially in his second year, because we've seen with C.J. Stroud that he's taken a step back. Team defenses have now paid attention to. They got tape on you. They got film on you. They know what makes you tick. And did you correct the things that you needed to correct from the year before? And it's going to show up. It's showing up this year for C.J. Stroud. But right now, Jaden Daniels has shown in prime time, even in losses, he has shown that he can, put a team on his back and win the game. It's going to be interesting to see if Michael Penix can he do the same thing. Now, my other thing about it, and now both defenses aren't great, but the thing about Atlanta is they're going to have to do what they did last week. Get some takeaways. Jesse Bates, Justin Simmons, you know what I'm saying? AJ Terrell, whoever. They're going to have to get some takeaways because their pass rush is not that good.
No.
Their pass rush is not good at all, actually. So they're going to have to get some pressure, figure out to get some pressure or get some turnovers off of Jaden Daniels. So
if the Falcons win this game, it's going to be one of those low-scoring 20-17 games. It cannot be over 20 shootout. It can't happen. If it goes that point, Washington they've had the juice for whatever reason. Call for what you want to say. They basically become what was it, the Minnesota a couple years ago when they kept winning one-score games. We knew the next year that wasn't going to happen again. That's basically what they become. But warranted, they have the right quarterback for them.
Right.
But I just, unless it's one of those ugly games, I just don't see the Falcons winning. I don't either. But Bijan Robinson's going to have a great game. But
if they're going to win, if they're going to win this game, Bijan Robinson's going to have at least $150 and a couple of touchdowns to win this game.
But it's also predicated as far as what happens earlier too with Tampa Bay. That's all predicated on that because I think if Tampa Bay loses, the division's done.
Is it?
I think so because
I thought both teams had win out. I don't know. Maybe so.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, you're right. Well, I think I have Atlanta winning next week.
Who they play?
Let me go. Oops. Where are them scrubs? There we go. I said, where are them scrubs? There we go. They play the Panthers at home.
No.
I'm not saying it's a walkover, but I just think in those kind of games, the momentum is high, the energy is high. It's tough to I don't care how bad a team is or how mediocre or how average a team is. When you have that home crowd it's just there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless, God forbid, somebody they go down to like their third string quarterback or something like that. I don't see it.
Right. Yeah,
I mean, the Falcons were my pick to win the division, but I mean, looking at their losses, I'm like, how in the world they lose to them? And then, the Raiders were given, but still, jeez. Lose to the Saints, though. My goodness.
Right.
That was what killed them more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you the Seahawks. I'll give you I'll give you all that, but jeez. The Saints.
Right. All right, man. Let's end it off. Players of the game. Who you got?
Man. Defensive line just, I don't know. Collectively, I just think that's a collective effort in the defensive line. I did not expect that one bit at all. 5 sacks. Where can you go wrong with that? I'll give it to the whole D line on that one. If you want to pick Furious George, pick him. You want to pick Dana, pick him. You want to pick Warden, pick him. The D line was just absolutely phenomenal. Let's give it to them. Offense, we gotta give it to Kelsey. Why not? He got the record. He did it right. You can throw an honorable mention in for Worthy because he played a great game. He's gradually progressing, but look, Kelsey been trying to get that record for a long time. We were probably assuming like he probably would have had it mid-year, but he got the job done. He looks all wheels are turning and churning. He rolling now. You can sit back and hang out, do whatever, go with Taylor Swift, whatever.
Right.
Play kickball. Who cares? Actually, don't play kickball. Never mind. Just whatever.
I'm with you. I'm gonna go with Trent McDuffie though. I'm with you with the defensive line. They deserve it. They all deserve it, deservingly so. But I'm gonna go with Trent. Trent balled out. He had the strip fumble.
3 straight
turnover games too. Yeah, Trent balled out. Had some key tackles too.
Mm-hmm.
Our offense, I'm gonna go with Mahomes. I know there's a low hanging fruit, but I'm gonna go with Mahomes. This was his best game of the season by far.
Mm-hmm.
He was efficient. He looked comfortable. He looked like old Mahomes. He looked like the Mahomes we all love to see. He was doing all his stuff. He was smiling. And, you saw it after the game. These dudes was laughing. I ain't seen that locker room that juiced up in a long time. In the group chat, I'm always sending the locker room. Even after a win, it's like dead in there. It's like, I'm like, yeah, we won, but whatever. It's like they just be like, what? Even when Andy be like, how about those teams?
Yep.
And then he's like, Patrick's like, all right, 1, 2, 3, break, go. It's like whatever. They was excited. Andy Reid coming out with the Santa Claus, got the elf dude coming out. You got the Kelsey and them with the robes on. Hey, by the way, did you see George Pickens? Did you see George Pickens when they was doing the broadcast? They doing the interview. He coming over there shaking their hands. I said, George Pickens is like, hey, man, come get me. Come get me, though. Come get me, though.
Couple more years.
And Patrick is like, you gonna have to fly right. You gonna come over here and play.
Right.
Because we'll get ready in a second. I ain't playing that. If the ball don't come your way, you better not throw your helmet on the ground. You better not. I want you to. Because you'll be inactive. You'll be on the practice squad.
Mm-hmm.
We'll elevate Justin Ross.
Right.
So, but yeah, those are my players. Those are our players of the game. And we go into week 18, chilling ChiefsKingdom. We got the 1 seed. Everything is looking good. We're flying high right now. I'm so proud of this team, man. 15-1, man. There's nothing to snooze at. You know what I'm saying? With all the doubters out there, and I know if we win the Super Bowl, everybody's gonna, we never doubted the Chiefs. Yeah, whatever. We doubting them all year.
We've been seeing it, the team back away at the top, where they're supposed to be. Oh, I can't do it. I knew it, blah, blah.
Everybody wants to look at the Ravens and the Buffalo Bills and all them, and there's so much Rex Ryan, his love affair for Josh Allen, how they're so much better. We're gonna get bounced in in the first round or divisional round. Shout out to Draymond Green. We dedicate this Super Bowl to you, sir.
You know when Bart Scott gets to talking about the Chiefs are looking like they're in shape, and when he starts talking positive about them.
Yeah, I know. He's such a flip flop. Him and Colin Cowherd are flip floppers. Colin, him too.
You know, we've seen the same old story. But
TJ Husmazada wants us to lose so bad that he is praising the other side. He was all on Cincinnati, and Joe Burrows is the best quarterback in the league, and yada yada yada. Now he like Baltimore, they're the threats, and if they go to Arrowhead, I don't care. They're gonna beat the Chiefs. Let's see what happens when Derrick Henry only has 50 yards.
Look, the Arrowhead Invitational is back in full swing after a 1-year break. We good.
Yeah,
we good.
All right, good people. If you look down at the bottom, you see the link emqpodcast.com/locker-room. If you go to that link, you see the locker room access of all the podcasts under the Every Morning Quarterback umbrella. They have a 49ers one, they have a Patriots one, they have a Jets one, and they have ours, Arrowhead Chief Podcast. Click on the banner. You see all our episodes from the recent to the past ones. Also, check out their YouTube channel. They talk about everything league-wide NFL. They talk about college football, and they give you betting tips for the week. So go ahead and subscribe to those brothers over there. Shout out to Every Morning Quarterback.
The Chiefs didn't have to get 30 to do it all year long. That's the crazy part. That's hilarious.
Well, they scored 30 twice this year.
No, they didn't. They scored 30.
Yeah, they did. They scored 30 against the Panthers, and they scored 30 against Tampa Bay. Yeah, they scored 30 against Tampa Bay, and they scored 30 against the Panthers.
Let me double check that. I don't remember scoring no 30.
30 to 27 against the Panthers, 31-21 against Buccaneers, I think.
Oh, they did. They did get to 30. Okay, they didn't get to 31.
Well, that's the goalpost move that they got now. Oh, they scored 30, but they ain't scored 31. It's like, we just can't win with y'all, man. We just can't win. But if you whatever streaming platform you use, whether it be Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, whatever podcast app that you use to listen to your podcast on, the Arrowhead Chief Podcast is available. Go ahead and subscribe. Also, first-time watchers on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification button. So when we go live, usually on Tuesdays, various different times on Tuesdays, when we go live on Tuesdays, you can jump into live, talk about these Chief topics with us. And we want to hear from you guys, even on the playback. We want to hear you in the comment section. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And whatever social media platform you use, whether it be X, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, Twitch, whatever you use to do your social media on, you see that right above Mark, that AH Chief Podcast. You type that in, you follow us. We'll follow you back because we're not Hollywood. We're just some guys who love to talk about the Chiefs. We're fans just like y'all, man. We just want to give our opinion on the team. So go ahead and follow us. If you have feedback, critiques, or if you have a question or a topic that's Chiefs related or NFL related, and we like said topic or question, we will bring it up on the show. We'll shout you out on the show because we want to show love to those who show love to us. So go ahead and hit us up via DM, email, or our mentions, and we will get back to you as soon as we see the message. So, all right, good people, enjoy this victory and enjoy the 1 seed. Sit back, kick. Hope everybody had a good Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Going into the New Year's 2025, we are the number 1 team in the NFL right now on both sides. We are the number 1 team, and we are going in looking pretty right now for this three-peat. So until next year, people, we out.